Okay, hello, everybody. Welcome to the January 19th, 2022 Cities, Events, and Recognitions Committee for the City of Tacoma, and it is 4:16 p.m.
Excellent. Thank you, Kala. I would like to acknowledge that we rest on the traditional homelands of the Puyallup people, where they make their homes and speak the Lushootseed language. And I would like to ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Oh, agenda. Sorry, let me pull that back up.
I motion to approve it.
I'll second that. Stephanie Caldwell.
Thank you, Stephanie. Was the first one Rosie or Hillary?
Rosie.
Rosie.
Thank you, Rosie.
And then for discussion purposes, I do need to change the date, or this should have said December 15th, not November 17th.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay, and may I have a motion to approve our meeting minutes?
This is Hillary, and I motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Hillary. Do I have a second?
This is Rosie. I second it.
Thank you, Rosie. All right. Well, as we know, we just celebrated Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday with a beautiful program, and most of us were just on the call, but I want to just say again, thank you to all of you. I thought that was great. And, we put a lot of hard work into this program and, reviewing all of the nominations. And I was really happy with that. And gosh, I want to meet all those ladies. How fascinating are they? I really wish we could have some sort of event where we get to meet everyone that was part of this, because I want to give everyone a big hug. Anyway, that was a beautiful program, and thank you to John and Kella and everybody who's helped make that happen. And Gerald
and Fred and Cheryl and
Jennifer.
Jennifer couldn't be here today, but
yeah, and Silong, he did great. So yeah, thank you all. So
good job to all of you. Work too.
Yeah.
Shall we? I think we're going to try to keep this meeting a little bit tight, just because I know we all had a long week. Shall we go into staff updates?
Yes. Gerald, do you want to do the social media update?
Yeah, I'll just recap. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll just recap on just like the MLK stuff. For those who are in the call, yeah, I believe it was about like 2 weeks ago before the MLK broadcast. We did have a meeting with a subcommittee for marketing communications, and then kind of did a plan to kind of help promote this. So thank you for those who are there. And I was like just pulling up just stuff from just our live broadcast summary. So like, yeah, we peaked around 66 viewers, but a lot of shares were there, like 23 shares with like 102 comments with 38 reactions. So my goal was just to be as engaging as possible. So every time someone posted something, everyone put kudos. I just liked it. I loved it. I cared for it, all that good stuff. So and like which is kind of interesting too with the audience that we had. Of course, we have Tacoma locals who are watching this, but also we did have some people who stayed on like on their Facebook, kind of like where they're located. We had like California, Texas, Illinois, Oregon, Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Colorado. So which is awesome too. So we're going global kind of. So which is awesome. But just kind of the plan for this, and I know we did talk about it in the subcommittee, was to let this video live on, and just even segments of the video. So I'm going to be working on, and then also with the help with the subcommittee, so kind of like a plan what we can do to amplify this video after MLK and possibly have a hard push on to during Black History Month. So which would be great and would be awesome for that. So other than that, yeah, like with the push of the MLK celebration, we did also put some marketing dollars for there, and then just kind of some quick views on that. Even the past 7 days, that we had a total of 237 responses saying either that they're going or they're interested, which is pretty awesome. And then and reached wise, people reached, we had about 16,000 people who we reached out. So at least they able to see on their Facebook feed. So other than that, it's going strong. Just one, if you can, submit your bios to me. If you can. I'm not going to call anybody out, but Stephanie, thank you for completing the bio. I'll call that one small call out. But yeah, if you can, since this could be a New Year resolution for everybody in the subcommittee or the committee, is to complete that. So other than that, Tammy, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I'll just say thank you, Gerald. I think you did a tremendous job of getting the word out and also launching the premiere for the first time. Typically, I think that would have run on the City of Tacoma's social media, and Gerald took the helm. And I think we saw a big jump in our followers too overall. So
Oh, that's
the
good.
exposure of that event also helps grow us for future.
Yeah.
So great job. And earlier on our staff meeting, I just commended Calla for the tremendous job that you all did, and how grateful I am for Calla too, that she has such an engaged and committed committee to put together such a wonderful production. And it really did just showcase Tacoma and the community in such a beautiful way that I loved it. So congratulations to you all. It was a wonderful job.
Yay.
Thank you for saying that.
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Very exciting. Let's see. Thank you both for those updates. On to the recruitment schedule.
Yes, I have received a recruitment recruitment schedule, and the working backwards on that schedule, we are going to see we're going to see an announcement for recruiting I think, so let's start with the interviews. So on May 24th, it's scheduled to go to interviews in front of the Economic Development Committee. And then before that, I do a little bit of vetting to make sure with the clerk's office to make sure that all of the people who have applied actually live in the city limits, and that we do a little shuffling. Like, for example, Alex has moved to the District 2, so we're going to need to either have him reapply or ask the committee to approve him being in the District 2. And so that means that District 1 is open. So those are the types of things that I have to kind of work on prior to the interviews, and then they invite people to come in or to Zoom in, and we'll probably still be Zooming at that point in time for public meetings, but more on that later. And then I think that they'll have the application open. They only do it for 2 weeks, but what I was reminded by the city clerk's office is that you can send that link to anybody at any time, and they can fill out an application today or yesterday or next week. It doesn't matter. That's just the time that they advertise it just for this committee. But anybody can apply for any of the committees, boards, and commissions through the city's portal. And if you need me to post that again, I will, or send it to you. I think I did send it last time, but I can put it in the chat again if you need that.
Kella, so what if we have people, like, what if too many people apply for one position,
Right. Well, so that's the hard part for the Economic Development Committee. They have, so I'm gonna scroll up here. Hope it doesn't make you a little, Motion sickness. Okay, so you see how we have at-large 1 and 4 and District 2 are open. Chris is going to roll off and he hasn't been engaged with the committee for a while. So then at-large 3 will be open. And I don't think anybody else currently on the committee has to either reapply or anything. So we've got, so that means we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That doesn't seem like enough, but sorry. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's at large. Okay. Alex is in. Okay, so
And at large means you don't have to be in that district, like you can kind of be anywhere. Is that, am I remembering?
you
that
can
correct?
be anywhere within the city limits. So like Cecily is an at-large, you're an at-large. And
Mhm.
if you were on the city council or the county council, that would mean that you are responsible really for representing all of the people throughout the entire county, as opposed to just your constituents within a particular district.
Mm.
So it's a little bit, it's different. Like you guys don't necessarily have to represent any particular district, whereas Stephanie is in District 5. And so if she chose to, she could, you know, go to District 5. I mean, she could engage with the council member who's representing District 5. I mean, those are the types of things. Whereas, you know, those are the types of things that you could consider doing if you wanted to. You could really take an active approach to it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I probably really never talked about that before. I feel like I need to clean this up a little bit because it's still not making sense to me. And there's supposed to be 11 seats, so it's not rounding up to 11 yet. So I will get that cleaned up, and then a press release or a news release will go out in late February, early March, I believe.
Is there a map of these districts somewhere?
Yeah.
I'm sure, like,
So
on the city-
when you went to apply, there's a link on that application form that says if you don't know what district you're in, click here, and then you enter your address and choose from the drop-down list for the address, and then it'll show you
Perfect.
where what district you're in and what council member represents that district.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And since you have, is it 3 new council members or just 2? We got 3 new council members. So Kara Daniels, I don't know the other 2 people enough.
I know her.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yes, she is.
She
Oh,
is one of my favorite.
Thank you, Gerald. Hillary, did you get your puppy?
Oh, yes, we caught her before I came back.
God, that is the worst feeling when your dog just will not come when you call.
We saw her. She's just very small and fast. So.
Yes, mine is as well. I'm too old to chase her anymore. Okay, so I can send, if I can resend that link to you guys, and you can share that out to all of your pals and friends and family and everything, if you would like to do that.
Yeah, I'd like to ask a few people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll resend that link application, and then we'll put it on our social media as well.
I feel like now is a great time too, because people who have watched or participated in the Martin Luther King program realize that that's the fun stuff you get to do.
Yeah, well, it is a fun committee.
I think so.
I call it the feel good committee. Okay. So the next, whoops, I need for that pop up. The next thing is the awardee selection process. And this is really important because we want to talk about the schedule. And I did put reschedule. Now I have it in there 3 times. So the deadline is the 4th of February. And I have some work to do on the nomination forms as they come in. And I only have one on SurveyMonkey right now, which is kind of surprising, but like I always say, people wait until the last minute, and I don't want to move that deadline. We do have a handful. I think there's about 6 from MLK, and I have it on my calendar this week to send a note to all of those nominators to say, you know, please consider approving this nomination to move to the City of Destiny Award processes. If there's any information missing, I'll collect that. So that's something I'm going to work on this week, even before the deadline, because we already have those in our possession. And then I'm going to be taking vacation the week of February 14th, which is when our next meeting is supposed to be. So I'm asking you to vote on moving that date, and then I'll send out the public notice for that. So if you want to ask for a motion, Jessica, and then we can.
Yeah, do we have a motion to move our February meeting to the 23rd?
I'll make a motion to move our meeting to the 23rd. Stephanie Caldwell.
Thank you, Stephanie.
And Hillary will not be available, so just wanted to let you know.
Do I have a second?
Can I second if I won't be there?
Yes,
Okay, I second then.
thanks, Hillary.
Hillary.
That's you're doing your part. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cute.
Kala, I think that you might have answered this, and I'm sorry if you already did. Are we allowed to nominate people for the City of Destiny Awards, or no, because we're
Yeah.
voting?
No, we talked about that. Yes, you are absolutely able to, but you might have to recuse yourself from that particular vote if
Got
they
it.
make it to the final roster.
Mm, okay.
Oh, and okay. Rosie says she might have to move an appointment too. I knew that was what was going to happen because you guys have this on your calendar for that date. The other option is well, no, we can't do that because John's here and he's going to yell at me if I say we move it to the March meeting. We're not going to do that, John.
I appreciate that.
Okay. You get it. Yeah. Put your dagger eyes away. I wasn't going to suggest that.
When my camera's off.
That's why. And then we also talked about with Jessica last week, I think it was last week, we talked about trying very, very, very hard to keep the final awardees list to under 10. Because the program gets really long. The moving parts, there's so many moving parts. If you have 10, then you have to do 20 videos. And I think we're going to have to assume with things the way they are that we're not going to have a live program. We talked about doing a combination or what's called a hybrid program where we have a small number of people, maybe the families of the people who are nominated or that are awarded, chosen to receive the awards. And then it can be virtual to the rest of the world. I mean, we can do things like that. So in the production phase of this, we'll be talking about that. And before I leave that subject, if you do want to convene a subcommittee just for the City of Destiny Awards, it's not as involved as the process of putting the MLK program together for the committee members. It's much more involved for TV Tacoma because there's so many more people to record. But it is something that you could consider once we have some decisions made.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent. So for communications, updated City of Destiny Awards graphics.
You know, I think that was from 2 meetings ago. But I am going to add one thing here. Sorry, you guys. I'm going to add one thing here, and that is that news release for new recruit. Effort, and we will have to do a news release for, let me just shorten this, City of Destiny awardees. And then a city line appearance for City of Destiny awards. So all of those things then have a social media component to them as well. So we'll want to get those things scheduled, Gerald. And I think that same as we did with the MLK event, we probably want to set up a subcommittee meeting within the next couple of weeks to sort of talk about that strategy. So I will send something out to that subcommittee group. Okay.
Perfect. All right. Do we have any public with us today?
Let me open up. Nope. No public.
Thank you, public.
Thank you for your interest.
All right. Do we have any open discussion topics? I feel like we're pretty good. I feel like we're all a little,
Exhausted.
yeah.
I know.
Oh, and Darrington has been calling me since the show aired, and he was very, very pleased. He thanks all of us. Hillary and I got to meet him and his wife, and that was just a really lovely moment. There were tears and laughter and all the things. So
Yeah, that's good to hear that he likes it.
he loves it. He wants a copy of it. Is that, he said, can I have a video copy of it? And I don't know if he means like burnt to a DVD or
John.
VHS.
Right.
Yeah, we'll do VHS. There you go. You know, we could provide a file or burn a Blu-ray.
Blu-ray.
Probably, it sounds like he wants like a tangible something.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we've had in the past, or DVDs for people, and I know that he had someone at TV Tacoma years ago burn a DVD of that 1988 videotape, VHS tape, but he can't locate it, which is really unfortunate. And I know Fred looked for it, but he can't find that either. So,
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
What are you looking for?
Oh, it was, remember, he had been given a long time ago, years ago, he had been given a VHS tape of the 1988 event. I think it was 1988. The first MLK celebration for the city.
Oh, yes.
And then at some point in time, I guess he got rid of his VHS and he went back to TV Tacoma or somebody and asked them for a DVD. So he at least has that technology.
You don't have a copy of that original program?
No,
see that.
Fred looked in the archives and he
So
was,
sad.
it's just not able to find it. And, you know, I've the few times that I've talked to Darrington, I've said, you know, if you ever lay your hands on it, please just put a yellow sticky on it and put it in the mail. He's got my home mailing address, so hopefully he can send it to me here. So,
Well, when I speak to him, Calla, I'll ask him about that too, because that I would love to see that. And I feel like we should have a copy of that for Tacoma's.
yeah.
Yeah, that has to be laying somewhere. And
It's got to be somewhere.
Somebody's drawer, you know, it's like Karen Vial was mayor, I think, back then.
Yeah, it would probably be, I mean, if there's a copy, it would be on VHS, and probably original would be on 3/4 inch.
Well, you know who we should ask? We should ask Doris.
Was it in the chambers? Is that where they held it?
No, in the old chambers. Yes, and it was at a council meeting. And it wasn't a special separate event. I think-
We're talking MLK. Was that a council
Yeah,
meeting?
I think so. Well, he said it was in the council chambers, so maybe it was, maybe it was on the Monday. Anyway, I don't know. I'm gonna ask Doris. I haven't talked to her in ages, so.
Yeah, let's ask Doris because
Okay.
with the context of it being in the council chambers, I wonder if it's been filed away with the council meetings.
Yeah, in the vault.
Yeah, exactly.
Is the vault still a thing?
Well, it's the vault basically is a bunch of boxes sitting on the floor.
Well, I was thinking about the old one that's on the second floor,
All that.
the chilled vault. I went in there.
Yeah.
She took me in there once. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I can't stay in here. Get me out of here. Okay, I'm gonna get on that, you guys. That's investigative journalism.
Does Darrington live in Tacoma, Kella?
I think his address is on that envelope that
Oh.
I gave you. I can't remember if it's University Place or Tacoma.
Tacoma. 143rd Street, Court East.
Yeah, so that's over in the east side. Well, he might be in Parkland. That might be Parkland or Spanaway. Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, and I just remembered, I still have all those umbrellas to give to Jennifer. Where do those need to live? That we bought for the rain?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I bet she'd come and pick them up if next time she's in town. Well, not
mean-
in, she lives in town, but I mean, next time she's downtown.
Yeah, they're not in the way. I just want to make sure we have them for other things if we.
Yeah, or she can use them for other, that was really cute. And I love the fact that he used the umbrella metaphor and, and then it cut to the kids with the umbrella. That was really sweet.
That segment was, I felt like a horrible person because I had all those children out in the rain and it didn't look as bad as it actually was. Like it was so wet and rainy and we had them in the cars. So very
Oh,
loud.
no.
But I was watching it and just giggling. I'm like, oh my gosh, I obviously am not a parent. 'Cause
Yeah, take care, Rosie. Sorry you don't feel well.
It's okay. Sorry, guys. I was unlucky and caught COVID, and
Oh,
it has
okay. Well, it's working its way
Yeah.
through the committee. It's okay.
it's
Okay.
been terrible.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks
Bye,
for
Jennifer.
coming.
Bye.
Letter.
Thank you.
Oh, gosh, guys. So sorry. Okay.
That's a lot.
I have a list of items for future agendas, so I think we wanted to have Jennifer work with us on a final report. Fred and Jennifer work on a final report. Then we'll have the City of Destiny nomination update, of course, at the next meeting. And then I will confirm all of the available seats and the recruitment schedule, the actual recruitment schedule that we fall on. And then just the regular Facebook and Instagram update, and anything else. So I put that at the end of the minutes for today,
Perfect.
and then, yeah, so that's all I have. Anybody
Great.
have anything else to share? Okay.
I just say thanks again to everyone and I look forward to planning more events with everyone. Oh, I know what I was going to share, Kala.
Mm.
I can just ask this. I was thinking about, well, now that COVID's running through the community, I was thinking it would be fun to do a community or a committee get together by way of like going to like a food bank or something like that all together and donating our time and some sort of charity. I just thought that'd be kind of cool. We've never all gotten to really be together. I know that there's
that'd be
some,
fun.
I know there's some, and I thought Gerald, this would be great for marketing purposes too, just to have the committee.
Maybe you could get them all together and take headshots.
Wow.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. Hey, do you have a contact at Emergency Food Network? I know they're in Lakewood, but they serve all over Tacoma and they're just amazing, amazing folks. So that's one really good place.
Okay.
And
I'd be
then,
willing, once we get out of this uptick.
yeah,
This variant.
yeah. Well, they keep telling us it's yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's something just to kind of brainstorm.
about,
If anyone has any ideas or knows of a great place, Kala, I'll look into the Emergency Food Network also, but I just thought that'd be a fun.
Yeah. I can send you Michelle's contact information.
Perfect.
And you can also just go on their Facebook page and send them a message. And Michelle will probably be the one. She's the executive director, but she's always on Facebook. Like, I think she belongs to every group that I follow. But she's really great. And the Emergency Food Network used to be at our City of Destiny Awards when we were in person. So yeah, that's the other thing. I think we, as a subcommittee, you might want to consider doing something that would sort of replace the community outreach fair, where we use social media to highlight, because there was probably about 35 different organizations that participated, and I bet we could get, a third of those to send us some content or send us links to things that they're doing in the community. And I think the same thing is true for Black History Month. If you put together a list like Dana Hill, like People's Parlor, like, the library is going to be doing something here. So our award recipient works for the library, right?
Yep.
Latasha. So, maybe we can reach out to her and ask her because I know they're planning something. I just don't know exactly what it is. So maybe put a wish list together of, and Stephanie, if Absher has any plans to do anything during Black History Month, maybe share that. I don't know, Hillary, in your world, if you've got anything that you know of. And we should be posting those things on our social media too, because those are events and things that are close to our hearts. John, is there anything going on TV Tacoma for Black History Month? I think I asked you that before, but.
There's no special programming in that way. We are running scholar pages that are sort of highlighting individuals in history.
Oh, great.
That type of thing. I'm trying to remember. I want to think we might have something scheduled on a City Line episode, but I have to double check that.
That might be cool. So the person who wasn't able to participate, Jessica, was the grandson of Judge Tanner.
Yeah.
I forgot his contact information. He's a lawyer he's an attorney in Seattle. He's not a judge. I thought he was a judge, but he set me straight. So I have his contact information, and maybe we could, ask him if he'd be willing to share something, anything like that is relevant to what this committee is engaged in. I think that's the important thing, is there has to be a thread of continuity.
In Downtown Tacoma Partnership, which is another board that I sit on, they asked me, the person who does their social media asked about kind of working with us on that too for Black History Month, and doing some stuff with Judge Tanner, just because courthouse is downtown. And so we want to partner with us, perhaps. I don't know how we could do that, but
that's pretty cool. I could, you could interview me about my experience sitting on one of his juries in 1988.
Oh, that's right.
No, I'm kidding. But also the History Museum does something every year for Black History Month. Yeah. And then, okay. So there's lots of things that could happen.
What is the house, Dr. something, the house that just got purchased by the city?
Nettie Asprey House.
Because connect with that somehow as well, and bolster the space to go, the Buffalo Soldiers Museum.
Yeah.
Just FYI, we're doing a piece on the Buffalo Soldiers History Museum and the Nenny Asbury piece on Tacoma Report.
Okay,
So really just any way that like we can boost celebrations of Black history that are here in Tacoma all the time, not even just during Black History Month, but
Mhm.
to provide those educational pathways for people to learn about the history, particularly here in Tacoma and here in Washington.
is it Astley House, Asley?
Asbury,
Asbury, Berry.
I believe so, yes.
That's okay. And that's the Colored Women's Club that's buying that.
The
But
story that I read was the
purchase-
first African-American PhD woman
Mhm.
in the
She
and so-
also founded the NAACP.
Okay. I think
Wow.
I think it's the Black Women's Group.
Yeah, I know I think she was either a founder, I know she was a member of Colored Women's Club, but she might have been. the
Colored
founder.
Women's Club, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. And then also there's the Caballeros Club. Those guys are fun.
Caballeros.
Caballero, not Caballero, Caballero. It's a person's name, right, Stephanie?
You know, I grew up with that club and my parents and stuff, but I don't know the history. It's sad to say.
I know it's been there since the early 1900s. I mean, like 1920s. Yeah. Actually met with them years ago when I was doing small business services and yeah, helped them with a marketing plan. Okay.
and like Azels and restaurants.
Mhm.
Mhm.
There's this whole history. I don't know if I've ever shared it with you guys. And if you have to leave, I understand. But I just think this is fascinating. So the Hawthorne neighborhood, which is where the Tacoma Dome is standing, was actually an affluent African-American neighborhood. Does this sound familiar? It
When
was
did
an
that-
And so in the 80s, the city council voted to approve the eminent domain clause and moved people's houses. I mean, they literally picked houses up from
You're
that
kidding.
neighborhood. I'm not kidding you. And so I asked Bill Barsma about it last year when I was, talking
love
to
him.
him. But he either was unwilling. It was a very, very controversial time.
I can imagine.
I mean, I remember the fallout from it and the backlash and all of that stuff. I want somebody to dig that up. Can you just like put a bug in the ear of the Grit City folks? There's stuff online about it.
I don't know
Yeah,
if they'll
Grit
have it,
City.
but the Wing Luke Museum did a huge history on redlining in Washington State.
Mhm.
They had an exhibition on it, and I actually no, it would have been in 2019 that they did the exhibition.
Uh-huh.
And I know that it stretched across the Puget Sound, so they may have that history as well.
Well, John would know. You guys didn't you do the thing on redlining, or was that some other group?
We
John?
did a piece on redlining in
Mhm.
Tacoma. We didn't go into that particular context of the Hawthorne neighborhood. We did talk about
Well, this
the
would have been after
impacts
that, yeah.
in particularly the west side, Narrowmore store
Mhm.
there, and some of the impacts, of course, in Hilltop and what was going on there.
Hey, if you get a chance, can you send us that? Because we watched it back
Yeah.
as a department. Do you remember that, Hillary? I mean, Tammy, do you remember watching that video back in 2020, like at the beginning of Black Lives Matter movements? And
Yeah, I
They-
do.
it was
I
really
did.
good.
It
We're in the
was,
process of updating it too, Paula.
It's time to update. You look into the Hawthorne district, the Hawthorne neighborhood. It's really fascinating, and you cannot find very many photos at all.
I have some photos.
Do you?
When I did my history of Tacoma piece,
Oh, that's
20
right.
years ago now, we talked about the Hawthorne district, but not in context of this approach.
Yeah. It's really interesting. there's a whole article, and I bet I still have it. I think it's on that SharePoint, because remember I put a whole reading list together and video list. Tammy, I'm gonna go look at it. It's very similar to the story of the 1920s and when New York City did the whole eminent domain on where Central Park was built. It was before the 1920s, actually. It's probably 19 teens. And there was this very affluent African-American and multicultural neighborhood, same story. I mean, basically the same story. So
That's wild.
I know I mean, it's happened in probably every major city in the United States. That's our history.
I just send a link to the video in the chat.
Okay. And the chat automatically saves. So I'll put those in the minutes. Try and get the minutes out earlier this time, you guys. I'm really sorry. That's why I'm taking notes this way now. Okay. Well, sorry, I mean to go on and on and on, but I just think that's such a important, all our history is so important. So
I agree. It's fascinating. Kella, did we hear back about the mayor's comments about MLK?
no, John, have you talked to her this week?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Have we heard from the mayor and her thoughts on the program?
I have not spoken to her about that. My conversation has been centering around the state of the city at the moment.
Yeah.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yes, it does. And then I don't know if everybody knows, but our keynote, Dr. Muhammad also got COVID. So that is why he was not able to record.
Yeah.
I got to know a lot about him. I'm kind of sad.
Oh,
I hope we can work on something with him. Actually, he deserves an award for everything he's gone through this year and helping his community.
yeah.
And that was another thing that was really touching is realizing all of the different faiths and organizations that really came to the aid, you know, of the Islamic Center to help them, give them space and time to be able to, you know, hold their services and prayers. And Tacoma's a good place.
I don't have anything else to share at this time.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'm good. Does anyone else have anything?
I put down that the meeting was adjourned when Rosie had to leave. So I put
Okay.
down that timestamp. Okay.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. See you next month.
All right.
Thank
Good.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey,
Have a good
Cal,
one.
can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, I have a question for you too.
Oh, excellent. So how does it, is it 2 years that we get to be on CERC and then we have to reapply?
I think it's 3 years. I think it's a 3-year appointment, if I'm not mistaken. I should know that. Oops. Yeah, I think it's a 3-year.
And then, but are you allowed to keep applying? Like, do people do that? Do they stay?
People usually, I've seen people stay on for two terms, like, so they'll do 2 3-year terms. Yeah, I don't, can't remember who that was. I'm trying to remember, sorry. I have a question for you. I don't know if this is something that you can accommodate or not, and just be perfectly honest with me. I
Okay.
have, so you know that I'm a member of the Washington Festival and Events Association, and now I'm on the board. I just went
Congratulations.
thank you. And I just went to my first meeting today. And so I was actually last week when I was talking to the executive director, Bruce, and then my kind of co-chair of the Greater Tacoma. I'm going to stop sharing. That's what's the problem here. Stop sharing. I can't see things. I need to schedule a week of March 14th. I need to schedule a kind of like maybe 2.5 or 3 hour, we call them seminars. They're basically